Welcome, one and all, to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert, and I am broadcasting to you now from the epicenter of tonight's biggest story, New York City, because in this city, this was the last day of Trump's civil fraud trial, where he could lose $370 million and his ability to do business in this state. Now, so far, we don't know how much he's gonna lose. All we know is that today in court, he lost his You see, Trump had been pushing for days to give the closing argument himself, but that motion was denied by New York judge and college professor in line behind you at the dispensary. Arthur Engoron. Now, in an email to Trump's lawyers, Engoron first said he was open to the idea as long as the former president followed some rules. He may not deliver a campaign speech. He may not impugn myself, my staff, or the New York State court system, and he may not comment on irrelevant matters. Look, I never comment on irrelevant matters, okay? By the way, did you hear that many people are saying that windmills are turning our whales gay? Whatever happened to Wayne Newton? So, that's what he couldn't do. But as 27 women can tell you, Trump doesn't take no for an answer. So, in the courtroom this afternoon, his lawyers asked one last time if Trump could speak. And for some reason, Judge Engoron agreed, but he told Trump to keep his comments to a few minutes and stick strictly to the facts. So, of course, Trump started ranting that the statute was vicious, there was no fraud, that, quote, this is a fraud on me, attacking the attorney general and insulting the judge to his face in what the New York Times described as full stream of consciousness. Look, Your Crooked Honor, this is a plot by Crooked Joe, Joe Rogan, Hogan's Heroes, Meatball Hero, Meatball Ron, Do Ron, Da Bill Bar, Bilbo Baggins, Bag of Rice, Paella, Spain, Don Quixote, tilting at windmills. A lot of people are saying windmills are turning our whales gay. Whatever happened to Wayne Newton? Now, finally, Engoron had enough, and he shut Trump down, chiding his lawyers, control your client. They can't control me, nobody can. You can't tie me down, I'm like the wind. Whatever happened to windmills? Why don't they turn our whales gay anymore? I blame crooked Wayne Newton. There were no cameras in the courtroom, and this is true, the sketch artist did capture the moment. Let's take a look. Gah! Looks like he's screaming, we have to kill the Batman. And Jimmy, what's that purple blob behind him? But I'm being told that's just his lawyer, the Grimace. Is it Grimace or the Grimace? Is it this? I don't want to dead name him. Last night, Trump made his pitch to Iowa voters in a town hall on the Fox News, which notably was the first live appearance on Fox News in 2 years. It's been so long, many of the anchors over there had forgotten what his butthole tastes like. Now, Trump kicked off his 2024 campaign by promising retribution, but last night, he struck a very different tone.
I'm not going to have time for retribution. We're going to make this country so successful again. I'm not going to have time for retribution. And remember this, our ultimate retribution is success.
You know what they say, living well is the best revenge, which is why on day one, I'm going to throw a living Joe Biden down a well. Then Donald Trump showed off his nuanced grasp of America's energy policy.
Energy is so big, it's such a big deal that when energy goes up, if you make donuts, if you make hamburgers, anything you do, it's all energy.
He's right. He's right. It's all energy. With enough energy, America can achieve anything we could possibly imagine, from donut to hamburger. And someday, if we achieve fusion, perhaps the hambonut. It's a hamburger with a donut bun. I've had that. You've had that? I've had that. Now, while Donald Trump was over having a high old time on Fox, CNN held the final Republican primary debate before Iowa between Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley at Iowa's Drake University. You know their mascot, the Fightin' Hotline Blings. Haley and DeSantis are trailing Trump very badly, but they're in it to win it. Let's take a look at the debate action. I'm sorry, Jimmy. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's our mistake. That's two rats fighting over a slice of pizza. That's obviously not the primary debate because that rat fight had a meaningful result. Haley, somebody got the pizza. The pizza. Haley and DeSantis really did go after each other, with Haley presenting herself as the candidate of the future.
What we need is a leader that's not looking at 4 years and 8 years. We need a president that's looking at 20 and 30 years.
Well, good news. The front runner is looking at 30 years, 20 with good behavior. Then DeSantis got right to the issue that keeps Americans up at night. He's still mad at Mickey Mouse.
Nikki Haley sided with Disney. She invited them to South Carolina, even though they were involved in transing kids.
First of all, no, they weren't. And second, transing? That's not a verb. They're transing kids. They're non-binarying uncles. They're bisexualating baristas. With God as my witness, I will not let your grandfather be lesbianed. Of course, the race was completely shaken up last night by former New Jersey governor and tourist who just ruined your picture of the Capitol. Christie. Christie dropped out of the race and gave this explanation.
I've always said that if there came a point in time in this race where I couldn't see a path to accomplishing that goal, that I would get out. And it's clear to me tonight that there isn't a path for me to win the nomination.
There isn't a path. That's so sad. It reminds me of that Robert Frost poem. Two roads diverge into yellow wood, and neither of them are voting for Christie. Christie says he's committed to stopping Donald Trump at any cost, which is why before he took the stage, he was caught giving this endorsement of Haley on a hot mic.
And she's going to get smoked. And you and I both know it. She's not up to this. I talked to DeSantis, called me petrified.
Oh, come on. DeSantis wasn't petrified. That's just how he stands. There's also big news about a leader America actually cares about, because longtime men's football coach Bill Belichick is leaving the Patriots after 24 seasons. Now, I don't know much about the old gridiron tango, the pigskin polka. Never played it as a kid on account of my brittle bones and my love of maintaining brain function. But my staff over here tells me that upon hearing the news, Patriot fans everywhere were absolutely deflated. Now, during his time with the Pats, Belichick managed to win 6 Super Bowls while still showing up every Sunday on the sidelines looking like a divorced dad who puked in the Uber. It's been a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of bad weeks out there for airplanes. First of all, the nation's Boeing MAX 9s were grounded because of this teensy issue where their doors might randomly pop off midair. Then yesterday, a United Airlines flight had to make an emergency landing when an open door light illuminated shortly after takeoff. As a result, United is changing their safety presentation. Please take a moment to locate your nearest exit. Keep in mind, it may be behind you or in a field outside of Portland. Good luck. Now, The flight departed from Sarasota, Florida, then had to make an emergency landing in Tampa, which is ironic because the motto of Sarasota is, "At least you're not in Tampa." Now, unlike the Alaska Airlines plane from last week, which was a Boeing, this one is an Airbus A319, which is comforting until you find out that Boeing and Airbus are the world's only major large passenger aircraft manufacturers, so all planes are bad. That's why from now on, I'm only flying on planes from small mom-and-pop aircraft manufacturers like Barry and Birdie's Sky Canoes. You know their slogan, "We can't legally call this a plane." We got a great show for you tonight. My guests are Emily Blunt and Coleman Domingo. But when we come back, meanwhile, join us, won't you?